The annual Thompson family dinner was in full swing at my parents' upscale suburban home, with my sister Elizabeth once again holding court about her latest achievement, making partner at her law firm. To our brilliant daughter, my father raised his glass, his eyes gleaming with pride. At least one child isn't a failure. I adjusted my simple black sweater, a handcrafted cashmere piece from a small Italian artisan that cost more than Elizabeth's entire suit collection, and maintained my composure. If only they knew that while they mourned my wasted potential in running a small online bookstore, I had built Nova Digital into a tech empire worth billions. Speaking of failure, my mother chimed in with practiced concern. Sophia, darling, are you still doing that little internet thing? I nodded, sipping my wine, a rare vintage I'd brought but they dismissed as probably something cheap. Still running the bookstore, Mom. Online retail, Elizabeth corrected with a smirk. Let's call it what it is, a glorified Amazon wannabe. If she only knew that my Amazon wannabe had revolutionized AI-driven retail technology, with patents worth hundreds of millions. While she bragged about her six-figure salary, I was closing deals worth more than her firm's entire annual revenue. You know, my father leaned forward, Elizabeth's firm is always hiring paralegals. Someone with your limited experience might qualify. My phone buzzed. A message from my CFO. Microsoft licensing deal confirmed. $300 million upfront payment processed. Thanks, Dad, but I'm happy where I am. Happy? Elizabeth scoffed. Sophia, you live in that tiny apartment, drive a basic car and sell books online. Meanwhile, I just bought a vacation home in the Hamptons. I thought about my tiny apartment. Actually, the entire top floor of a luxury building I owned through a shell company. The basic car was a custom-engineered vehicle with security features that cost more than Elizabeth's Hamptons house. Not everyone needs to show off their success, I replied quietly. What success? My mother sighed. Darling, you're 32. When are you going to do something meaningful with your life? I checked my phone again. Another message, this time from my legal team. Patent infringement settlement complete. $180 million deposited. The family gathering continued its usual pattern. Elizabeth broadcasting her achievements, my parents lamenting my choices, everyone taking turns suggesting real careers I should consider. I just worry about your future, my mother said, refilling Elizabeth's glass with the wine I'd brought. No real job, no ambition. If she only knew that while they planned my career intervention, I was planning a major tech acquisition that would reshape the industry. The little internet thing, they mocked, had transformed retail analytics and was about to go public with a projected valuation that would make Elizabeth's law firm look like a corner store. Did you hear? Elizabeth announced proudly. I was featured in Rising Legal Stars magazine. Front page article about my journey to success. That's wonderful, sweetheart, my father beamed. You always knew how to make something of yourself. He turned to me with familiar disappointment. Unlike some people who seem content with mediocrity. I thought about the Forbes cover story sitting on my desk, embargoed until tomorrow's announcement of Nova Digital's IPO. The article titled "The Silent Tech Queen" would reveal how I'd built a multi-billion-dollar empire while maintaining complete anonymity. More wine? I offered, watching them dismiss the $2,000 bottle as ordinary. At least you're good at serving drinks, Elizabeth smirked. That's something, I suppose. My phone lit up again. The IPO documents were ready for tomorrow's filing. By this time tomorrow, my net worth would be public knowledge, and the family that had dismissed me as a failure would learn exactly what their disappointing daughter had achieved. After all, success tastes sweetest when served with a side of revelation. The dinner reached its crescendo when Elizabeth decided to share her latest financial wisdom. You know, Sophia, she said, cutting into her steak, I could help you invest whatever you make from your little website. My firm handles significant portfolios. I bit back a smile, thinking of my actual investment portfolio, billions in tech stocks, real estate, and venture capital funds. The private banking team that managed my wealth wouldn't even take clients with less than $100 million in liquid assets. That's thoughtful of you, I replied, just as my phone buzzed again. The IPO pricing had been finalized. Nova Digital would debut at $180 per share, valuing the company at $28 billion. Sophia, put that phone away, my mother scolded. It's rude to check your little shop during family dinner. Sorry, Mom. Just some business matters. Business. Elizabeth laughed. Let's not pretend selling used books online is a real business. Speaking of which, Dad, did I mention my firm's handling the Anderson Tech merger? $1 billion deal. I knew about the Anderson Tech merger. I declined to acquire them last month. Their technology wasn't innovative enough for Nova Digital's standards. Actually, I said quietly, I have some news to share. Did you finally decide to get a real job? My father asked hopefully. Not exactly. I pulled up the embargoed Forbes article on my phone. This comes out tomorrow morning, but I thought you should hear it from me first. What's this? Elizabeth grabbed my phone, her expression shifting from contempt to confusion. The silent tech queen, how Sophia Thompson built a multi-billion-dollar empire. This must be a mistake. My mother peered over her shoulder. Nova Digital. AI-driven retail technology. Projected IPO valuation of $28 billion. Sophia, what is this? My little internet thing, I replied calmly. The bookstore was just the public face. Nova Digital has revolutionized retail analytics. We're going public tomorrow. This is impossible, my father sputtered. You sell books online. I opened my banking app, turning the screen toward them. That's my personal account. There are others. The silence was absolute as they stared at the number. $47 million, and that was just my checking account. But your apartment, your car? Elizabeth stammered. The apartment? I own the building. The car? Custom made with security features because, well, billionaires need protection. I took a sip of my wine, the one they'd dismissed as cheap. By the way, this bottle costs more than your monthly mortgage payment. My father's hands were shaking as he reached for the phone, scrolling through the article. AI patents. Revolutionary technology. Major clients including Microsoft and Amazon. Those licensing deals you thought were spam emails? I smiled. Each one worth hundreds of millions. The little shop, you mocked, processes more data daily than your law firm handles in a year, Elizabeth. Why didn't you tell us? My mother whispered. Would you have believed me? You were all so convinced I was a failure, so certain Elizabeth was the only success story in the family. I stood up, smoothing my cashmere sweater. By the way, sis, about that Anderson Tech merger, I passed on buying them last month. Their technology is outdated. Might want to advise your clients accordingly. The room spun with shocked silence as years of condescension crumbled in the face of undeniable success. After all, some achievements don't need constant broadcasting, they just need the right moment to be revealed. The next morning, as the Forbes article went live and Nova Digital's IPO hit the market, my family's carefully constructed hierarchy imploded. My phone buzzed continuously with messages. Elizabeth, we need to talk about investment opportunities. Mom, darling, why didn't you tell us? We could have supported you. Dad, Princess, let's discuss some family business ventures. I archived them all, focusing instead on the stock ticker. Nova Digital opened at $220 per share, well above the IPO price, pushing my net worth past $15 billion. The little internet thing had become one of the most successful tech IPOs in history. My assistant filtered through hundreds of media requests. Your sister's law firm called. They want to discuss representing Nova Digital. Send them our standard vendor rejection letter, I replied, watching the stock price climb higher. 1 month after the revelation, I sat in my real office, the penthouse of Nova Tower, with its panoramic city views and museum-quality art collection. The tiny apartment my family had pitted me for was actually just a decoy, one of many security measures protecting my true lifestyle. Your parents are in the lobby, my assistant announced. They don't have an appointment. I watched on the security feed as they stood awkwardly in the marble entrance, my mother clutching her newly purchased designer handbag, my father fidgeting with his tie. They've been waiting for an hour, my assistant added. Let them wait another hour, I replied, reviewing acquisition proposals worth more than their combined lifetime earnings. When I finally allowed them up, their reactions to my actual office spoke volumes. This is extraordinary, my mother managed, staring at the Picasso on the wall, worth more than their house. The little internet thing has done well, I said mildly, enjoying their discomfort. Sophia, we were wrong, my father began. We never understood. No, I cut him off. You never tried to understand. You were too busy celebrating Elizabeth's predictable achievements to notice I was building something revolutionary. Speaking of Elizabeth, my mother ventured, she's having some difficulty with her firm's clients after the Anderson Tech situation. You mean after I publicly passed on acquiring them and their stock dropped 40%? I smiled. Funny how that works. My father cleared his throat. Perhaps we could discuss some family investment opportunities. Like the opportunities you offered when you thought I was a failure? I pressed a button and screens descended from the ceiling, displaying Nova Digital's current market cap, patent portfolio and global reach. I don't need family investments. I need people who believed in me before they saw my bank balance. Over the next few months, the family dynamic shifted dramatically. Elizabeth's law firm lost major clients who wanted to work directly with Nova Digital. My parents' country club friends now sought introductions to me rather than updates about their successful daughter. The annual family dinner came around again, but this time at my penthouse. Elizabeth arrived in a designer dress that probably cost her monthly salary, trying to project confidence she no longer felt. Nice place, she offered weakly. I just bought a new house myself. I know, I replied. My real estate division owns the development. Your mortgage application crossed my desk last week. My mother tried to mediate. Girls, surely we can move past. Past what? I asked quietly. Past years of being called a disappointment? Past being told to get a real job? Past being seated at the children's table while Elizabeth held court. I stood, walking to the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. See that building with the blue lights? That's where I first coded the AI that made me billions. That small bookstore on the corner? The front for what became a tech empire. The coffee shop where you told me I was wasting my potential? I own the entire block now. My father attempted one last time. We're still family. No, I corrected him. We're a cautionary tale about judging someone's worth by their willingness to brag about it. The disappointing daughter had become the family's defining success. The little internet thing had transformed into an empire. And the quiet child they dismissed had built something beyond their imagination. As they left that evening, I watched them drive away in their increasingly modest cars, finally understanding that true success doesn't need constant validation. It just needs patience and the perfect moment to reveal its magnitude. After all, some disappointments become achievements that redefine an entire family's definition of success.